Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is currently, if you're wondering, 5:45 a.m. It is August 28th, Wednesday, and we're going to break down a couple of guys that I don't think you should be drafting at the running back position. Let them pass and let other people take their stabs on them going into your fantasy draft today, this weekend, tomorrow, whatever it might be. Before we get into that, you can check out some of my other videos as well. I did a wide receivers video. I did some running back value, so sort of the opposite of what this one will be. But I just want to make sure you're as well prepared as possible. I'll be doing this in terms of a PPR style format for a 12-team league. But again, if you're somebody who is in a 10-man, this will still be relevant to you. Just pass on them in the later rounds. But we're referencing 12-man league rounds right now. So a couple other things to point out. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I do cover fantasy football. I cover daily fantasy sports in general from an analytical standpoint and really a long-term strategy standpoint. I read about 2 to 3 to 4 hours a day of NFL beat writers to kind of prepare for the season. Been doing that for a month or so. Know probably every single player and every single team right now for every single offensive position, which is all that really matters for far majority of fantasy leagues that are actually matter. If you play individual defense fantasy leagues, just turn the video off. No, don't. Stay. Give me the views. Just kidding. But anyways, yeah, let's get into this. I have 9 guys to talk about. We'll start it right away. If you hit the subscribe button, if you are new here, let me know in the comments. I want to know what kind of new audience I'm reaching doing these sorts of videos. But let me know. Hit the subscribe button if you get any value from this. Check out what's down below in the description. There's some free giveaways and things like that you can check out. We'll start off with LeSean McCoy. So first off, LeSean McCoy was getting drafted in the mid-9th round at the beginning of August, which was still too high in my opinion. Now he's getting drafted in the 8th round. You people are drafting LeSean McCoy, like a 30-year-old running back in the 8th round. I don't understand. Look, I rarely want to draft guys who are approaching or are 30 years of age at the running back wide receiver position, right? Even tight end's okay, but running back wide receiver position, they hit a wall. The ways that I will draft them in my leagues is if they're in a very clearly good situation and I'm getting them at a good value in the draft. LeSean McCoy is not in a good situation. He had his worst year ever last year, started to get worn down by injuries even more in Buffalo, where for aging backs and just aging players in general, you're going to be playing in very cold weather, which is not good for your body by any means. I have no idea why Frank Gore is out there. It's like the worst place you can go. Being in Miami is the complete opposite and the best place. I don't know why the hell that man left. But then you have Devin Singletary, this rookie who already is being hyped up as going to get a ton of work in this offense. And I personally believe at one point this season, whether it's 4 games in, 6 or 8, he's going to be the starting running back for this team, or at least going to be in a very clear split for the top running back spot. There was a point in the preseason few weeks ago, and I wouldn't be shocked if this somehow comes out of nowhere, that LeSean McCoy was going to get cut. That's what I thought a couple weeks ago. And if you're sitting there and saying, oh, this guy's crazy thinking LeSean McCoy is going to get cut, no, you haven't been paying attention then like I have. That's why I'm here doing this video, to inform you. LeSean McCoy is not worth being a roster spot on your drafts in the 8th round. If you're getting him for free, if you're getting him in the 12th round, sure, take a stab on it. And I'm talking about 12-man leagues. So if you're drafting a 10-man league, at the 12th round at best is when you should be taking him, because I don't believe, one, he is anything like his old self with the injuries and his aging body being in Buffalo. I don't see the upside there. And then 2, you factor in that Frank Gore's back there. He's going to be getting a lot of the goal line work. You factor in that Devin Singletary is going to be on the field for a decent amount of third downs and potentially taking over first and second down snaps pretty soon. Why are you drafting LeSean McCoy with your 8th to 10 pick in a 12-man league, 8th round, 10-man league, 10th round? I don't understand. It is beyond me. I would not be touching LeSean McCoy, in my opinion. Next guy, Damian Williams. This one's going to get a lot of, I already know this one's going to get a lot of pushback. Look, I get it. Damian Williams is somebody who they signed 2 years or for a 2-year deal last year, the Chiefs, and I was high on him all season long until about 2 weeks ago. And I'll start to tell you why. A man named Darwin Thompson, who, if you watch my values video, is my favorite rookie running back this year. I think based on like where you're getting him in drafts. I think Devin Singletary, who we just mentioned, will be good. I think that Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery will be fine. I think there's some really good backups in Darrell Henderson and Tony Pollard, the Rams and the Cowboys backups who seem fantastic. But Darwin Thompson is the main reason why I am much lower on Damian Williams now. Look, you're drafting Damian Williams in the 2nd round, probably closer to the middle of the 2nd round in a 12-team league. I don't feel comfortable with that, even in this Chiefs offense, and the reason why is the backfield is sort of stacked and mainly coming from Darwin Thompson. Darwin Thompson is a rookie out there who has jumped Darrell Williams, who has now jumped Carlos Hyde, and Carlos Hyde is about to get cut. We'll talk about Carlos Hyde in a second. But Darwin Thompson is now the 2nd running back on this team, and he's been getting all the first-team goal line reps over Damian Williams. So now Darwin Thompson seems to be in line for a lot of the goal line, if not all the goal line work, and he's been splitting the reps with Damian Williams in practice for the first down or the overall first-team reps at running back. So you're getting Damian Williams, a guy who, sure, seems like the de facto number 1 guy in this offense. He was fantastic last year. But this rookie running back, Andy Reid has just been saying phenomenal things about, similar to the wide receiver Mecole Hardman out there, the rookie. So Thompson is a guy who at his ADP right now is still not getting drafted high enough. And due to that, I don't want Damian Williams in the second round. If there's going to be any risk 3 weeks into the season that Darwin Thompson is splitting first team reps with your second round pick in a 12-team league is going to be in a backfield, in a committee backfield, and you drafted him thinking he was a 3-down back, I have news for you. That's not going to be the case. So Damian Williams, as of right now, is not a guy that I'm drafting in the second round, the mid to end of the second round. I just don't have interest in a guy that I personally do not believe is going to be the number one or the clear sole 3-down back for this team. Not even close, in my opinion. He's not going to get goal line work. A lot of people out there are going to say, I drafted Damian Williams already. That's fine. He's not a terrible pick. It's just when I think long-term, not the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, long-term, I do see Darwin Thompson factoring in a ton of this into this offense, definitely by the time the fantasy playoffs come. So I would avoid Damian Williams in the second round. I think that you're going to get a lot more value in drafting the guy who I think will be the starting running back on this team at some point this year, in Darwin Thompson. Next up, and I already know that one's going to get pushback, but I don't care. I mean, I'm doing the research on this stuff, and it seems very, very clear that Darwin Thompson already took the goal line duties. He's already jumped 2 running backs on the spot. He's going to make Carlos Hyde get cut, and now he's pushing Damian Williams already for the starting job if you've been paying attention at all. Todd Gurley is the next guy up here. Look, Todd Gurley, I'm actually higher on than many people. I get it, the whole knee thing. Sean McVay just said he's going to get 80% of the workload this year. That means nothing to me. We knew that. The problem with Todd Gurley is his knee going to swell up after week 2, and then he's going to have to sit out for 2 months or sit out the whole year. Like, we don't know what his condition to his knee completely is. Like, they're not telling us too much, and at the end of the day, we'll never really know. If he takes one hit that normally would be okay for most running backs, but for him it's going to increase inflammation in his knee, and he's out a month or more, and now there's complications, that's the risk in drafting Todd Gurley in the first round right now. You people are crazy. You're drafting him as the 11th or 12th overall player in a 12-team draft. I don't even have him as the 11th or 12th overall running back right now on my board. So look, if you're drafting in a league where it's a season-long league against your friends, or you're playing in high stakes for money, and you're drafting him in the first round or the early second round, you're taking on a lot of risk there for a guy who might not even play half the season. They drafted Darrell Henderson Jr., the rookie running back, in the third round. They've been giving him so much run in the preseason because Sean McVay said, I want to get him on the field more, even with Todd this year. So built in already is Darrell Henderson Jr., likely getting more touches. The fact that Todd Gurley is the most expensive running back paid of all time will keep him on the field, though, as long as he's healthy. And I don't know if he'll be healthy. Nobody knows if he'll be healthy. The fact that there's coach speak coming out that he's going to get a lot of the workload doesn't matter to me. Don't let that say, oh, wait, Sean McVay said he's going to get 80% of the load? Oh, I'm back on the Todd Gurley train. No, that's been already understood. He's one of the best running backs in the league when healthy. He's the highest paid guy of all time. The big if is he going to be healthy? He has an injury that any week can flare up and keep him out for a month plus, and you're drafting him in the first round. Yeah, it seems risky to me. I'm not going there. Myles Sanders. So I'm a Penn Stater right here. We got the hat on. I love Myles Sanders. I love Saquon Barkley. They're one and the same. Well, not one and the same, but they were there at the same time, practicing under the same coaches. Myles Sanders practicing under Saquon in a way, if you will. I love Myles Sanders, but people are overhyping this kid. Look, I get it. He had a great camp. He's looked decent in the preseason. He hasn't made much noise since then, but he hasn't had the opportunity to. But you're drafting him in potentially in the 5th round now. Like, he's going in the 5th round of 12-man leagues. He's going in the 6th or 7th of 10-man leagues. Can I ask you why? Is it just because of the hype? Look, I get it. He might be the de facto number 1 running back on this Eagles team, but do you know how many running backs are on that team? They signed Jordan Howard. They resigned as a free agent, came out of retirement, Darren Sproles. First of all, you don't sign Jordan Howard for no reason. They're going to utilize Jordan Howard. He's going to be goal line back. He's going to get touches. You don't sign and bring out of retirement Darren Sproles for no reason. He's going to have third down work. He's going to get touches. He'll be on the field. They also have Josh Adams, who last year was their Myles Sanders last year. All the hype in the world. The guy had like an 18 or 15 carry game and then nothing, squat. They still have Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood. All these guys are still in that backfield. Let me tell you something. Last year, only 4 running backs, or only 4 times did an Eagles running back see double-digit carries in a game. It was 3 different running backs too. There's no consistency in this backfield. Doug Peterson is not about to go to a workhorse back. So if you're drafting Myles Sanders thinking he's the number 1 running back on this team, he very well might be, but that means like 10 carries a game, like at most 12 carries a game for him. There's just too much depth in this backfield for me to want to draft him in the 5th round, spend a 5th round pick on a guy who I don't even know if he'll ever see a 20 touch week or 15 plus touch week on average. Yeah, no, I get it. The hype, I'm all about him. I love Myles Sanders. I'm a Penn Stater myself. I understand where the hype is coming from. Don't think that I don't have the knowledge and understanding that he is getting hype in the camp right now. Just look at the overall situation, though. There's going to be about 4 guys in this backfield that are going to get work. Usually you're scared if there's 2 guys, right? A committee, 2 guys. There's going to be 4 in this backfield. Darren Sproles, Jordan Howard, Myles Sanders, and then probably one of the other guys breaks free, and I would imagine it is Josh Adams. So no thank you in the 5th round at all in Myles Sanders. And you're not going to get him in drafts if you just listen to this advice, and I'm completely fine with that. Let somebody else reach for a guy who is going to average like 12 carries a game this year. Carlos Hyde. So we talked about Carlos Hyde earlier, and you can see, look, ready? The steep decline, right? Anytime there's a steep decline, that's scary. It's a crash. Usually means avoid the stock market, although if you're smart in the stock market, when that happens, you start buying more because you know it will come back up. But anyways, Carlos Hyde. Look, if you're for some reason still drafting and you haven't realized this yet, do not draft Carlos Hyde. I'm only saying this because 2 weeks ago he was getting drafted in the 9th round. Now it seems more and more people are becoming pretty privy to the situation happening in Kansas City, that he's just not even draftable. You can see 13. I just want to make sure you know this if you're going into your drafts and you see the name Carlos Hyde, you don't get tricked by the name value there. He is not going to be on this team. He's already dropped to the 4th on the depth chart. We talked about Damian Williams being the de facto number 1 right now. Darwin Thompson, number 2, pushing for number 1. Then they have Darrell Williams, who's been number 3. All 3 of those guys are getting reps in preseason games and camp before Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde is about to be cut. He's about to be on like his 4th or 5th team in a matter of a 2-year span. So don't draft Carlos Hyde. He is not worth it. I don't even care if he's your last pick in the draft after you pick your kicker. Do not draft him. He will not be on a team. And as of right now, maybe he signs with the Texans. That makes sense. Now there's no Lamar Miller. Duke Johnson, I don't think can carry the load there. But even then, I don't have interest in Carlos Hyde. We have to see what pans out here. Right now, on his current situation, just don't draft the guy. He's not going to play. I'm just trying to give you a heads up if you're drafting today or tomorrow. Tarik Owen. This one might get pushed back too, but here's the thing. Tarik Owen is not going to get the same workload as last year. Oh, Sal, you're just saying that. No, I'm not. His head coach, Matt Nagy, came out and said they gave way too much work last year to Tarik Owen. They said they want to use him way less, and then when you pair that with David Montgomery, this guy that they have all the hype in the world in, the guy that I have a lot of upside and belief in, and potentially could be a top 5 or top 10 running back in that offense for sure. Tarik Owen is going to kind of start to slowly disappear. Now, Mike Davis is also out there. He's going to be a guy who catches passes, probably not utilized a ton. But I'm not drafting Tarik Owen, who is trending upwards now of going from a 6th round pick a few weeks ago to now getting back into that 6th round. I'm not drafting him there. Look, if you're in a PPR format, it makes some more sense. But David Montgomery, they've already said, is going to be utilized as a 3-down back. So when does Tarik Owen get on the field? I guess when they're trailing big and it's 3rd and 30. David Montgomery is a better pass protector. Tarik Owen, for his size, is an okay pass protector, but you're looking into last year's stats. Last year's stats are probably going to be the best year of Tarik Owen's career. You don't become that efficient in the passing game as a running back who's on the field for just so little percent of your team snaps, like 20 to 25%. It just doesn't happen. And now you factor in that his coach already said he's not getting as much work, and you factor in that there's a new rookie running back in town who's going to be a 3-down back. Why are you still drafting Tarik Owen in the 7th round of 12-man leagues? It's beyond me. Or the 6th round if it's PPR in a lot of leagues. I have no idea why. The workload's going down, the overall amount of time he spends on the field is going down, and there's another guy in the backfield that's going to be there. Pair that in with the fact that he's going to regress. Like, even if he was going to get the same amount of work, he's not going to be that efficient as he was last year. One of the most efficient seasons ever by a running back in terms of their pass catching work. It just doesn't happen. You don't do that 2 years in a row. So I don't have any interest in Tarik Owen. Darius Geis. So look, I get it. Darius Geis is another guy who was a rookie last year, tore his ACL. Now he's back. He looked okay in his first preseason start. People are overhyping his 5 touches and his 10 snaps, but look at this. The guy was getting drafted in the 5th round at the beginning of August. Now he's getting drafted at the beginning of the 6th. I don't have interest in him at this spot. I think Darius Geis is a good pick this year, but in a 12-man league, I'm not touching him till the 8th round. In a 10-man league, I don't want to touch him till the 9th round. This is a kid who everybody's basing him and really all his ADP right now off of what he did in college, which was fantastic, but really what he's done so far in camp, which is just practice, and then number 2, what he did in his 5 touches or whatever it was in week 3 of the preseason. You realize that this backfield is very, very deep. And let's talk about a couple things. You have Adrian Peterson still back there, who the ageless wonder himself is still going to touch the rock a ton. You have Chris Thompson coming off injury, who has looked fantastic in camp, and they know they want to utilize him at least in passing down situations on 3rd down. So that's just taking away work right there from a guy that you're drafting in the 5th or early 6th round. And then you also take into account that P. Ryan is still out there, a guy who's just fallen down the depth chart, but still going to make this team and still going to get somewhat of touches. This backfield is just so loaded. Now, Darius Geis might rise to the cream of the crop there and be the number 1 running back, but that doesn't mean, similar to Philadelphia, that doesn't mean much to me. And then you factor in Darius Geis' individual situation. He had an ACL tear that he had 3 complications with. 3, not 1, not 2, 3. That leg is a little bit messed up. I'm not going to base all the hype on beat writers saying he looks good in practice and him getting 5 carries in week 3 of the preseason to make me draft him. No way in hell. You have Adrian Peterson, who will get his double digits plus touches a game, and you have Chris Thompson, who will get all the pass catching work. Geis will be for sure worked into there, but not enough for me to spend a 6th round pick on him. You guys are all crazy. I don't understand it. Two guys left. If you have not yet already, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at SalVetriDFS. Rashad Penny. So this is just an easy one here. Rashad Penny was getting drafted as a 6th round pick. He is now getting drafted in the 8th round. Do not draft Rashad Penny. Do you know how bad this guy's looked in the preseason? This guy's averaging about 1.5 yards per carry in the preseason. He has no burst. He has no vision in the preseason. In camp, he's looked terrible. He came into camp a little bit out of shape. And Chris Carson, the gap between Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, I can't even show you on the screen. It won't show, right? Chris Carson is going to be the pass catching back, the 3-down back in this offense. He's already up to like a 2nd round pick in fantasy drafts for PPR, which is probably a little bit high, but I still understand the hype there. Yeah, right now, Rashad Penny, I would not be shocked if Rashad Penny got cut. They have guys in this team behind Rashad Penny that I think they're fine going with those guys instead. Penny has shown nothing to be of value to this team. He's had a terrible preseason. If you're somebody who is coming into these videos without doing any knowledge and you want to drop in the comments below, you don't know what you're talking about. Rashad Penny was the breakout guy last year. No, pay attention to the last month of the season. He has been terrible. All the news coming out has been very bad about him. And he's another guy similar to LaShawn McCoy where I don't expect these guys to be cut. But if they were cut, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Like Mike Daniels for the Packers, he was cut. And I was like, that makes no sense. Like, where'd that come from? If these guys randomly, these bigger names, definitely McCoy being a bigger name, but Rashad Penny being a noticeable name, if it came out that they got cut, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm not shocked. Like, so do not draft Rashad Penny in the 8th round. Like, I don't understand why people, or if you're in a 10-man league, the 10th round, I don't understand why people draft these types of players when they know what they're going to get if they put any research in or you watch this video. You're going to get a guy who you're lucky if he gets like 6 or 7 fantasy points one week. You're lucky if he gets that. Where in the exact same rounds, or a round or two later, you can get Darwin Thompson, Devin Singletary, Tony Pollard, these rookie running backs, Darrell Henderson Jr., these rookie running backs who are either going to be starters at some point this year or who are potentially the best handcuffs in the entire league. Like Darwin Thompson in the 10th round right now is, I don't even know how to tell you how much better of a pick than Rashad Penny in the 8th round. It's not even close. I would never draft Rashad Penny in the 8th round. Neither should you. All right. Last guy right here, Adrian Peterson. We already talked about the other guy in his team, right? Darius Guice. So Adrian Peterson, I had no problem with you getting him in the 10th round or the 12th round of 10-man leagues, 10th round of 12-man leagues, 10th round, 10-man leagues, 12th round. That sounds very confusing. But pretty much I had no problem with you getting him where you did like a week or two ago. But now he's getting drafted too high. It doesn't make any sense. You're drafting Adrian Peterson now in the late 8th, early 9th round. Where does this come from? I don't understand. Darius Guice is also moving up. Where does people think all this work is going? When two guys are trending upwards on the same team, that's usually a bad sign, right? It means that the public and the people that don't kind of put too much research into it are seeing Adrian Peterson's name value and going, oh, and you can tell right here because look at this spike. Over the past week, he's been spiked over a round higher. He's getting picked. You want to know why? Because people haven't been doing their research all off season and they see Adrian Peterson's name and they just think, oh, one of the best running backs of all time. Of course I'm going to draft him in the 8th round. He's fantastic. No, he's not. The man's like 32 years old. And now, like we said, Darius Guice, although I'm not high on him individually, he's going to be taking away work from AP. Chris Thompson is back this year. He's going to be taking away work from AP. AP doesn't have any pass catching upsides. And even if he's did, both of those backs should be getting more pass work than him. Pretty much what you're getting here in Adrian Peterson is like hoping for 10 to 12 touches a game on the ground and hoping that he gets near the goal line. More times than not, he's going to have 10 carries for like 25, 30 yards. And you're going to be sitting here with him in your 8th round pick because you think Adrian Peterson is the best running back of all time. He might be one of the best running backs of all time. That's not helping you in 2019. So do not draft him in the 9th, the 10th, the 8th. Don't draft Adrian Peterson at all, in my opinion. Once again, similar to the take on Rashad Penny, get all the exciting players that potentially could be a top 5 or top 10 running back if things break their way. Load up on those guys. Do not take Rashad Penny and then Adrian Peterson back-to-back in your leagues for running back depth. No, take Devin Singletary and Darwin Thompson because one, if not both of them, are going to be starting running backs this year or producing way more than Adrian Peterson and Penny combined. So those are the 9 guys. Hopefully this video helps. Hit the subscribe button before you leave. Follow me on Twitter at SalVetriDFS if you have any more questions. And I'd love to chat down below. Get into the comments. I want these new videos to reach new audiences. So if indeed this is your first time seeing me, let me know. I want to introduce myself to you. Like I said, my name's Sal. You already know that. Best of luck in your drafts. Peace out, gang.
Hey, hold up. 1 second. Check out this page. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button, all right? And if you're interested in Patreon, if you're not already a patron, you can hit that button on Patreon, become a patron. It will take you right there. You can also check me out on Twitter at SalVetriDFS. And hey, if you're interested, this next video that's about to pop up, why don't you check it out as well. See ya.